Duckpin bowling is a variation of 10-pin bowling. The balls used in duckpin bowling are 4-3/4 into 5 in diameter, weigh 3 pounds 6 ounces to 3 pounds 12 ounces each, and lack finger holes. They are thus significantly smaller than those used in 10-pin bowling but are slightly larger and heavier than those used in candlepin bowling. The pins, while arranged in a triangular fashion identical to that used in 10-pin bowling, are shorter, smaller, and lighter than their 10-pin equivalents, which makes it more difficult to achieve a strike. For this reason, the bowler is allowed 3 rolls per frame. Duckpin bowling centers are located in Connecticut, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, Indiana, Maryland, Wisconsin, Virginia, and in suburban Washington, D.C. There is also one located in Potter, Nebraska, the only one of its kind west of the Mississippi. Rules: Duckpin bowling has rules similar to 10-pin bowling. In a 10-frame game, bowlers try to knock down pins in the fewest rolls per frame. Bowlers have 3 balls per frame, instead of 2 in 10-pin bowling, to knock over a set of 10 pins. If a bowler knocks down all 10 pins with their first roll in a frame, it is scored as a strike. If all the pins are knocked down in 2 rolls, the bowler has made a spare. If all the pins are knocked down in 3 rolls, it is scored as a 10, as in candlepins, with no bonus. If pins are still standing after the 3rd ball, the bowler gets 1 point for each pin knocked down. In the case of a strike, the bowler gets 10 points plus the total number of pins knocked down with the next 2 balls rolled, for a maximum of 30 points. In the case of a spare, the bowler gets 10 points plus the number of pins knocked down with the next ball, for a maximum of 20 points. If it takes 3 balls to knock down all 10 pins, the bowler gets 10 points, with no bonus. A bowler's final score is the sum of the points earned over 10 frames. The maximum possible score is 300 points, which is accomplished by rolling 12 strikes in a row. According to the NDBC, the official high score in a sanctioned game is 279, rolled by Pete Signor Jr. in 1992, although higher scores have been reported, including a 300. History: the origin of the sport is a subject of some debate. One possible origin is that duckpin bowling began in Baltimore around 1900, at a bowling, billiards and pool hall owned by future Baseball Hall of Famers John McGraw and Wilbert Robinson, both of the then Baltimore Orioles. However, according to a 2005 baseball book by Howard W. Rosenberg, an article from May 1894 in the Lowell Sun confirms the existence of duckpins. Rosenberg traced the story of crediting the origins of duckpins to McGraw and Robinson as far back as Shirley Povich of the Washington Post in the late 1930s. Possibly the earliest book to shed light on the Whopper is Florence E. Greenleaf's 1981 The Game of Candlepin Bowling. In the main text of the book, Greenleaf credits McGraw and Robinson with originating the sport, and her source is Frank G. Menk's Encyclopedia of Sports, the 1978 edition of which indeed contains that superlative. However, at least in the version of the book that is in the permanent collection of the Library of Congress, there is a corrections since publication page near the end, pasted in, and correction 1 states, duckpins were bowled as early as the 1890s in Lowell, Massachusetts. Sig area. Then, in 1985, a 130-plus page publication called Duckpins, the 10th frame cited related Lowell, Massachusetts, coverage of duckpin bowling in May 1894. Writing in that publication, Bob Tkach, of Newington, Connecticut, noted finding articles showing that a duckpin tournament was being held in Lowell at that time. Besides the rarity of the 1981 candlepin bowling book in U.S. libraries, the 1985 publication is not readily available at all in U.S. libraries, which explains why anyone looking to refute duckpin bowling's Baltimore origins would have a tough time competing with a claim in such a widely distributed book as Menk's Encyclopedia of Sports, which has undergone many printings. Articles can be found in the Boston Globe earlier than May 1894, the newspaper itself being founded in 1872, showing the existence of the sport around Boston. According to Rosenberg, the earliest Globe reference to duckpins was on January 2, 1893. Rosenberg's book methodically accounted for Baltimore newspaper reporting in late 1899 and early 1900, when duckpin bowling suddenly appeared in Baltimore. The Baltimore Sun of December 28, 1899, said that at the McGraw-Robinson Bowling, Billiards and Pool Hall the night before, the facility's manager had introduced duckpins. The Sun did not cast the introduction as nationally significant. A possible explanation for the introduction is that Robinson is a native of Massachusetts. In 1982, the Women's National Duckpin Association was formed to give women a venue to compete in duckpins at a professional level. The organization conducts several tournaments yearly in New England and the Mid-Atlantic. The final tournament each year is called the Grand Prix. The origin of candlepin bowling has also been traced to New England. In particular, to the Massachusetts city of Worcester in 1880. Some well-known duckpin Hall of Famers: Nick Trinsky, Kensington, Connecticut, 1961; James Deitch, Silver Spring, Maryland, 1961; Elizabeth Toots Barger, Baltimore, Maryland, 1961; James Wolfensberger, Hagerstown, Maryland, 1965; Vincent Shorty Diver, Silver Spring, Maryland, 1977; Henry Hank Howard, Fairfax, Virginia, 1978; Jeffrey Ferrand, Salisbury, Maryland, 1982; Michael Twinkle Toes Burke, Catonsville, Maryland, 1987; Clarence Weed Lavers, Stratford, Connecticut, 1989; Pat Rinaldi, Bethesda, Maryland, 1989; Jack Deitch, Silver Spring, Maryland, 1990; Frank J. Michael Izai, Selbyville, Delaware, 1991; Anita Rothman, Baltimore, Maryland, 1991; Carol Gittings, Baltimore, Maryland, 1991; Charles Buddy Creamer, Glen Allen, Virginia, 1992; Jeff Piles, Hyattsville, Maryland, 1992; Peter E. Pierce, Attleboro, Massachusetts, 1993; Edward C. Darling, Baltimore, Maryland, 1994; Patricia A. Melvin, Baltimore, Maryland, 1994; Diane Isica, Laurel, Maryland, 1994; Kathy Leo, North Kingstown, Rhode Island, 1997; Adele Asemenos, Baltimore, Maryland, 1998; Steve Iavaron, Mapleville, Rhode Island, 1999; Mike Steinert, McSheristown, Pennsylvania, 2000; Teresa Vermillion, Harwood, Maryland, 2000; Don Dove, Abingdon, MD, 2004. Variants: in 1905 a variant called rubber band duck pins was introduced in the Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania area by William Warfield, in which the pins are circled with hard rubber bands to increase action and scoring. Warfield observed bowlers wasting their third ball as well as flying pins injuring pinboys, so, according to a defunct publication called The Ducks, Warfield added the rubber band to increase scoring. The American Duckpin Congress was formed in the 1920s to govern the game of rubber band duckpins. The organization later became the American Rubber Band Duckpin Bowling Congress in 1945 and became an affiliate of the National Duckpin Bowling Congress. The rubber band game is now almost extinct, with most of the lanes located in private clubs. Rubber band duckpin is the only version of duckpin played in the province of Quebec, where it has retained a certain degree of popularity. Bowlers tend to throw slowly with their fingers facing forward to give the ball backspin. There have been perfect games bowled in rubber band duckpin, including the largest duckpin prize ever won on television, $50,000 Canadian dollars in 1994. Since it is easier to knock down pins in rubber band duckpin, its rules are identical to those of standard 10-pin bowling. See also, 10-pin bowling, candlepin bowling. References: The Ducks Magazine, October, 1928, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. External links: duckpins.com, Duckpin Bowling Information and History. National Duckpin Bowling Congress, Women's National Duckpin Association, Duckpin Professional Bowlers Association. A July 7, 2007, features story on duckpin bowling in the press box, a Baltimore Sports Weekly, a duckpin bowling score calculator, a Sherman duckpin pin spotter in action, front-side view of the Sherman pin spotter in action, duckpin bowling, Campeonato Argentino de Bowling 2009.